I'm joined with a man who needs no introduction at all. Someone who has done it all in dawah, has been in the East and has been in the West, has acquired, as I say, more degrees than a thermometer.
Problematic.
Because a lot of people are quite fascinated by your journey, kind of your journey as an intellectual.
I was in the Minister of Education's office. So if you look at my dua book, the introduction to the dua book, I mentioned in the paragraph that I was undergoing a very serious crisis at the time. I was constantly making dua to Allah, and therefore that book is my favorite book because I wrote it with passion. It came from the qalb. I was making dua and writing the book on dua. One of the biggest crises in my own life took place when I was writing that book. And so you feel the spirituality, I think. And then it was literally when I was finishing the final, and I was the most prominent Western student that wasn't Madkhali. And alhamdulillah, straight A's, as you know, the top, percentage of the class. Allah blessed me to be not just a graduate of the College of Hadith, but in the top notch, with an A grade, basically, Mumtaz, they call it, right? Mm-hmm. And this was almost unprecedented for any Westerner, not just American, almost unprecedented in the history of Medina. And I had the highest score in the entire university, no exceptions, amongst the Saudis, Kuwaitis, Khalijis, everybody, the number one score from an American student to get applied, and the only one that got an A in the introduction exam, or what do you call it, the admittance exam, so to apply to the masters was very difficult back then. So an American, Hafidh al-Quran, with ijazat al-Quran and Hadith, with an A from the College of Hadith and the A and the only A from the admittance exam, this is a no-brainer, right? Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen got involved. He wrote me a tazkiyah, alhamdulillah. And this leads to another issue, and that is the issue of self-piety. فَلَا تُزَكُّوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. That is why, as I said, I hope I don't come across as arrogant. It's not my intention, but Ibn Uthaymeen said that, yeah. He said that, and I was 10 feet away from him sitting under him. It's not something I heard on a cassette. He said that, and I was in that gathering, the famous gathering. Why?
Problematic.
Again, these video clips are online. As I said, I have over almost 2,000 video clips, and Allah has tested me with a group of people who seem a bit unnaturally obsessed with me in particular, to somehow try to prove that I'm not an authentic version of their Islam. And Allah tests people in different ways. And I suppose for me in particular, one of the issues that definitely did cause this is the fact that I started off a mainstream, Najdi Salafi for a while, and then moved on, a few years being Athari, but not necessarily Najdi. Now I'm post-Athari. So what happens is that my base, some of it has evolved with me, and some of them, they see my evolving as being deviation. I just gave a series of Quran 30 lessons in Ramadan. I gave that famous LGBT talk earlier this year in my masjid, which went viral. It comes, as I said, I wear multiple hats, right? I'm a professor who teaches non-Muslims at the time. I'm a preacher who gives khutbas and mawa'id. I'm a public lecturer who addresses large audiences in Muslim conferences and conventions, 100,000 people here, 50,000, 10,000 here, and that's a different style. I'm a person who, on a personal level, gives fatwas and durus and answers Islamic questions one-on-one. So I give the answer that the person needs. I also teach very advanced classes in Aqeedah and Ulum al-Quran, dare I say, cutting-edge classes at the Islamic Seminary of America, and ask any of my students that have taken that class. And I also address hostile crowds of non-Muslims. Multiple times I've been invited by communities, especially during the ISIS crisis, to address non-Muslims. And I have made a promise to myself, this is my promise, that when the problem comes, when these fledgling sophomores, I call them neophytes, but then my other group make fun of me, is not problematic. Are problematic. This is problematic, just like Ibn Hajar are problematic, just like Ibn Hajar says, it's problematic for our...
May problematize.
I have been doing a deep dive into this issue. Okay, so you got my mind thinking at a much more advanced level. No, this is, I encourage anybody who is really interested to go deep to take the class. I do this class, it'll be 1 year later. I had 100 students, by the way. Alhamdulillah, none of them, I was worried one of them I problematized. But because and if you really want to do more than this, free plug here, attend or sign up for my classes at the Islamic Seminary of America, where I'm really going and doing deep dives in whatever class that I do. By the way, are you aware, next semester, I am teaching modern or advanced hadith with Jonathan Brown. We're going to be co-tagging. And again, the Islamic Seminary is cutting edge. We do the classical stuff. At the same time, we introduce you to what is going on in the Mustashiqeen al-Shubuhat, and then we merge together and we defend the tradition. But